What is going on, guys? So we are going to be back with The Last of Us, and I know there's like huge gaps in between every The Last of Us game I play. It goes back and forth, but you know what? I really love this game, so yeah. But anyways, as we're playing this, we're going to be talking about some of the things that are supposed to be in The Last of Us 2. Huh? How does that sound, huh? Okay, we're just gonna wait for this to load. Okay, I think one of the first things in The Last of Us 2 that I thought was incredibly awesome was the fact that you play as Ellie throughout the majority of the game. Like, how cool is that? We play as Joel the whole time here, and then it's just like, bam, Ellie appears. Ellie. Let's play with Ellie. I don't know. Personally, Ellie is freaking badass and awesome as a kid, so I can just imagine how badass she is going to be as an adult. I watched the trailer a couple times, and Joel appears towards the end of the trailer looking very much old, but still badass. So that's another interesting thing. My headset was turned down. So that is another interesting thing that I noticed on there. And I'm wondering if you're gonna get to be able to play with him for a little bit, like you play with Ellie on here for a little bit. Cause I mean, come on guys, it's only fair, right?
Gotta be a better way out than this.
Okay. The next thing, why can't I grab the ammo? Well, that's no fun. Anyways, the next thing that I thought was freaking awesome was the fact that Ellie is actually part, well, okay, I'm not gonna say part, but the whole game is based off of some people take her girlfriend, which I thought was really interesting because if you've played The Last of Us Left Behind, you would see that Ellie is actually in love with Riley, who she mentions, of course, to our protagonist here.
Alright, go. See if you can get it
And
propped
you
open with
see
something.
that they were actually in love in this flashback mini game that they give you.
Ellie!
Okay, go!
Another interesting thing, sorry, I get caught up watching this like it's my first time. Another interesting thing is that there's a part of the game where it takes place in Seattle, which is really cool. I'm not from there, but if you're from there, that's probably like a super cool fact for you to know, I guess. I don't know. I mean, if it was okay, basically this game started off in like a very Texan type rural country. I don't know how to explain it, but that's where I'm from. I'm from Texas. So when I learned that it was basically from
Fucking hunters.
here in Texas is
Seems
where
to have been
Joel
us.
originated from, I thought that was pretty badass. So if you're a Seattle lover, be on the lookout for things that
I should have turned
are
the
in
damn truck
Seattle.
around.
Maybe you'll see them in the game.
Lived.
Bear. Come on, let's get out
Okay,
of here.
another cool thing that I think is yes, the story of The Last of Us 2 is about Ellie going after. Oh shit! I'm sorry. Is about Ellie going after her girlfriend who was kidnapped. I'm not really spoiling anything because if you've watched the trailer, you'll see that.
How did you know
Know what?
about the ambush?
I've been on both
But
sides.
the story is actually a continuation of the first story, so we kind of don't just get left off at a cliffhanger because I know we all wanted to know what
Whatever you
happens
want.
after Ellie says, okay. I know everybody's heart, not just mine, broke into pieces when those end credits rolled up on the screen. Like, we need more. Like, okay, what happens after they got back to Tommy's? Like, we need more. We need to know if she found out, and if she did, what she did, and if she didn't, like how Joe kept the secret so long. We need answers, and of course, Naughty Dog is not going to let us be in disappointment because they are continuing the story with the second one. Okay, so another interesting fact is,
I guess this is good
of
as far as
course,
any.
like I said, Ellie is grown. I know it doesn't sound so interesting when you already know that, but let's just take into consideration the fact that here in the Left 4 Dead, sorry, sorry, I'm thinking about the new Left 4 Dead game as well. The Last of Us 1, Ellie is about 14, and in The Last of Us 2, she appears to be about in her late 20s. That is insane because that means well over a decade has passed, and that's insane because I can only imagine if this time period from the beginning to the end of The Last of Us 1, the clickers and bloaters, I can only imagine from the end of this game to the beginning of the next game what type of creatures are, sorry, zombies there will be. I don't know, it feels weird calling them zombies on this game because I feel like they're not really zombies. They're more of just rage and filled dead people, which is why I kind of like the fact that they call them infected and not zombies. Which also kind of reminds me of The Walking Dead. Another cool thing is it actually comes out this year and it's going to be released for the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 4 Pro. Don't worry if you're getting the PlayStation 5 because PlayStation 5 is supposedly supposed to be able, that was a tongue twister, try saying that 3 times, to play games from PlayStation 5 all the way to the original PlayStation, so I heard. I could be wrong, so don't quote me on that, but that's what I heard. I'm so distracted talking, I don't even know what I am doing with all of this. Give it away, give it away, give it away now. Alrighty. Another cool thing about this is the game is honestly going to be, however much more, I do not know, but it is going to be more bloody and gory than this one. Apparently. But if you are a gore fan, a horror fan, just the Last of Us fan, then you're going to love that. And I know I am super psyched for that because, come on, who isn't? Like, it's a freaking zombie game. Of course it should have blood and gore, and
There we go.
I hear it's supposed to look just a bit more realistic than this one. I mean, like I said before, don't quote me because this is all just stuff I've heard. I could be 100% wrong, 100% right, 2% right, 2% wrong.
Oh, I don't
But
think these guys were infected.
Well, it don't matter. Let's just keep moving.
I'm super excited. Okay, one bummer thing about this second game, however, is that there won't be any online play. Which is, I know, for some of us, it isn't that bad of a news.
All right. Here's the bridge. That's our way out of here.
Excuse me, I just sneezed.
Hey, Ellie, slow down. Wait for me.
What? Right here.
How about you let me go first?
Oh, I'm sorry, I had to sneeze again.
Okay.
Anyways, I know for some of us that isn't too bad of a news, but on the other hand, some of us have also really, like, gotten into it, I suppose. I say us for both because I don't want to persuade anyone's decision in what's going on.
I'm whistling.
Oh, good.
But me personally, I haven't
Now
played
something crazy
online, but I hear it's a great experience. So if that's something you guys do like, I am very, very sorry that
Like this.
I'm very, very, very sorry. Sorry, I keep getting distracted by this game. I love this game so much. Anyways, I was saying I'm sorry that it won't be able to be an online game as it is on this first one. Another thing is
What happened here?
we actually don't know much about the game other than Ellie's girlfriend is
Do fellow
taken.
hunters do this?
Ellie's older.
And no, my money's on the military.
Why would they mow down all these people?
You can't let everyone in.
So they killed them?
Dead people don't get infected. You sacrifice the few to save the many.
It's kind of shitty. What was that?
I don't know. Ellie, get down.
Where did you learn to shoot?
And sorry. The only thing we know really is that
You had an entire flock and you hit nothing.
About to hit you.
Wow.
Ellie's girlfriend is taken, Joel's in the game, Ellie is older, and it continues on from story 1. Other than that, we are left completely in the dark. Like, completely about what the game is, about why this happens. We don't know if it's just a random attack on Ellie and her girlfriend, or, like, we do not know at all.
All right. Guess you want to do this the hard way.
Oh, man.
What was that?
Jeez.
Alrighty. Sorry about that. I keep getting distracted. It's distracted. Okay, so here is a couple of things about this game because that's all the information I have on The Last of Us 2, sadly. So, what are you doing? Get it! Okay, so I actually thought I'd share with you some pretty awesome freaking facts about The Last of Us 1.
Hey, we can climb the bus right here.
Alright, so one of the things I actually found out the other day from, excuse me, from watching this YouTube, I don't really remember what the channel was or what the video was about. I just remember it was about The Last of Us and some cool facts about it. And one of the interesting things on there was the fact that there's actually this mushroom that produces spores.
Ready? It doesn't matter how much you push the envelope, it'll still be stationary.
What is that?
It's a joke book. No pun intended. Volume 2 by Will Livingston.
Let's keep going.
What did the Confederate soldiers use to eat off of? Silverware.
Uh-huh.
What did they use to drink with? Cups. Dixie cups. I walked into my sister's room.
No, I wanted to hear the rest. Ah, that's alright. How the fuck do we get up here? I forgot. Anyways, sorry. There's actually this mushroom in real life, okay? Just keep that in mind as I tell this story. That I'm not sure where, but it produces these spores that actually infects bullet ants and other types of insects, and slowly takes over all motor skills and makes them climb to a very high point in the trees. The rest of the colony, to quarantine this ant, will throw them to the forest floor. Yes, literally just chunk them off the whole tree, just like yeet them to the forest floor. And eventually this poor bullet ant slash, oh, that's how I get up there. This poor bullet ant slash insect is then completely taken over by this infection from this mushroom,
We'll get there.
that the insect dies from lack of anything. Can't eat, can't drink, just dies.
Whoa.
And the spores will
Strange seeing a
actually
checkpoint
start
with no soldiers.
to
This is what
sprout
most zones
another
look like.
mushroom
This place has been abandoned for a while now.
out of that insect and infect any other insect around it.
Give us our rations.
That is what this, how this
Why wouldn't they give them
started
their
is
food?
based off of,
Sometimes they ran out.
which I think
Most
is
times they just held on.
super
Never
insane.
happened in Boston.
Trust me, it happened all the time.
Like, super insane. Okay, another cool thing, and honestly, if you guys are like super fans of The Last of Us, you probably know some of these, and if you do, I think that is freaking awesome. I knew a lot of these and kind of just like forgot about it and kind of threw it to the back of my mind until I recently rediscovered all these things. But in the original story, that, and also if you have the Last of Us game, you might know a lot of this from watching the directors, the when the directors talk and they kind of show you how the game was made, and it's on the game. Anyways, if you watched it, then you probably know. Please don't bash me in the comments about being a dweeb for not knowing. Anyways, a cool thing is that in the original story,
Deer hunters.
Tess was actually supposed to become the villain after Joel and Ellie escaped from the city. After Joel and Ellie, I'm sorry, I can't fight and try and explain it at the same time. She felt betrayed, and she was supposed to hunt him down and seek revenge, eventually catching up with them, and she would be killed by Ellie just before she killed Joel. And that's how the game was supposed to end. Thankfully, that's not how it ended because now we get to see Joel in The Last of Us 2. Because if we didn't, let's be honest, we probably wouldn't even consider playing the game if Joel wasn't there. Okay, maybe we would. Anyways, another cool thing about The Last of Us is Ellie is a 14-year-old little badass girl that swears uncontrollably. Constantly, I don't think every sentence just about that she says has some type of swear word, which is super badass because, come on, only Ellie can make it badass. I don't know how to explain this other than saying badass over and over because that's just what she is. Let's be honest. Let's just be completely honest with ourselves. Ellie is a badass.
Yeah, I heard it too.
Ugh.
What's that?
Alrighty, another cool fact about The Last of Us 1 is they originally infected an elephant. I know, you have some questions.
You're not getting it.
Fuck.
Close one.
Sorry, let me continue. Okay. Yes, there was originally supposed to be an infected elephant. So, apparently there's supposed to be this scene in the game where Joel is chased and pursued by a giant infected elephant. Okay, another interesting fact is
Man, too fucking close.
You see anything over there? Oh. Hey, you okay?
okay, another interesting fact is that Ellie, of course, we all kind of at first when the game's first trailer came out thought was played by Ellen Page. However, sadly she is not. Her character is, however, beautiful and badass. Just want to say. Anyways. And once Ellen Page saw that The Last of Us was making a game with a character that looked exactly like her, she took it upon herself to try and sue Naughty Dog. Yes, I am a huge Ellen Page lover, but I'm going to be 100% honest. I was pissed. Not really so much because she was trying to sue them, but more of just because I would have been so goddamn flattered and happy. However, I'm not too sure how the whole lawsuit thing worked out, but I know that they did try to change Ellie's character to look more like her voice actor, which they changed a bit. However, she still appears to look like Ellen Page on some degree. Okay, here's another sad fact other than interesting. The director for The Last of Us 1 sadly will not be joining us for the prequel The Last of Us 2. What, baby?
Holy! Oh, shit!
So sadly, I do not know if it is the the co-director. I just know, sadly, very, very sadly, one of them will not be joining us, which always makes my heart sad because I feel that the team that put all the effort in and made something so amazing should never break apart because, come on. They did such an awesome job with The Last of Us 1. I'm kind of scared to see how The Last of Us 2 will unfold as they change their team up a bit because as I hear that's actually not the only person supposed to be leaving. The good news is I don't think they're completely leaving that job per se. I think they're just working on another video game that needs a little more attention than The Last of Us 2 does. Now, I happened to be watching another YouTube video that I can't remember because I watch like 150 of them a day about which zombie apocalypse would be the hardest to survive and such and such. And of course, okay guys, so as I was editing my video, I realized that my gameplay recording cut off and I'm not really sure why, but I was going to say at the end that interesting thing is that there was this YouTube channel called Wow Such Gaming. I watched this video about which zombie apocalypse would be the hardest to survive, and The Last of Us was on there and it got a astonishing 9 out of 10, meaning we'd only have about a 10% chance of surviving. I thought that was incredibly interesting and I really wanted to share that with you guys, so I just wanted to come back in real quick and put that fact on there for you. Also wanted to say thank you guys for watching. I love you so much. Thank you for all your support and I love you. And one more time, I love you.